This is episode 2 of the PunchCast. I am your loyal and humble host, Evan, and returning with me this week is Kevin.
Dang right.
And brand new to the show this week, we've got Mr. Liam.
All right, very, very exciting stuff.
And Jordan.
I'm very excited to be here.
Another two of the people moving over from the old site to the new site with us here. Some nice loyal chaps. Yes. Across the pond and whatnot. One of them, at least. We're just gonna go right into it this week. Like, there's nothing really to talk about. Who cares? Just tons of games that at least I know I've been playing. So you know what, Liam? How about you start us off?
What have I been playing this week? I wrote a list. And I've forgotten the list. It's downstairs. Never mind.
Are you kidding me?
What a nerd.
No, it's because I always forget. I always go like, whatever, which is exactly the boat that I'm in now. It's fine. So there's going to be some overlap, I'm sure. At least Kevin, I know you've played a few of these games, so we'll go through them as we go along. But I've been playing the new Rachet Clank, which I've enjoyed tremendously. I've only just started it yesterday. I had it on a launch day, and I just haven't quite gotten around to it because, the thing is, I know it's going to be good. Whenever the time I came around to start it, I knew it was going to be good. I've heard some great stuff, especially from you, Kevin, as well. So I haven't been in a huge rush to start it. And it is actually really, really good. I think I've talked about this with you guys before, but I haven't ever played a Ratchet and Clank game in full before.
Which is a crime.
It is. Yeah, I've said, I think, that on a PS2, which of course was the first one, was on, they had a demo for it, and you could play like a big chunk of the game. So I played a demo for the first game, which is good, because there's a part that I've just passed in a reboot that treads a similar water, and I can see the environment being quite similar, and the overall setup. Anyway, so I really enjoyed the demo back in the day, but I hadn't quite gotten around to buying a Ratchet and Clank game, because I know they were good and blah blah blah. I just for whatever reason I didn't. Anyway, with a reboot / whatever you'd call it, it's based off the movie, based off the old game. It's really, really fun. Kev, what did you think of it?
Well, first off, we should all just ignore the movie because apparently it's trash.
Oh, really? Is it?
Oh, you haven't seen the reviews? It's real bad.
Oh, in what way? Is it just the
from what I understand, it's just basically very, very generic. Which is kind of given the license, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, because you would think, because there's plenty of the movie clips sprinkled throughout the reboot, and that looks pretty good. But it's hard to tell, I guess. But I can kind of get it, because I enjoy watching the cutscenes. They're quite chucklesome, but they're not out and out funny. They're I think everyone likes to describe the games as being like a Pixar movie. They're not. They're really not. They're more like a DreamWorks movie.
That's
really.
Knack. Knack is like the Pixar movie, obviously. Remember those comparisons when they first showed off Knack? They were like, "Oh, it's like a Pixar movie."
Yeah.
It was, right?
When I watched the cutscenes of the game, they're fun and they're enjoyable, whatever. But I can see me watching a 90 minutes of that being quite a chore. So with the game, I haven't got very far. Maybe I'll beat a few worlds, but it's just I think the number one thing is that it's such a treat to play, from start to finish, just in terms of the visuals and the music, and the gameplay is really, really smooth, and just, it's quite accessible and easy. But I mean, it's a kid's game, but without being insultingly so. I can just whack it on, and it's just fun. The whole thing is just really, really fun, right, Kev?
Yeah. I have not played as much. I can't remember if I talked about it on last week's episode or if that was on the podcast of yesteryear, but I got it the same time. It came out the same day as Dark Souls, I want to say. I got it as kind of something to alleviate the pain of Dark Souls 3, because I was expecting to have a much rougher time with Dark Souls 3. It was going to be okay, I've died 20 times, I need a break. I didn't have as much of a tough time with Dark Souls 3 as I thought I would, so I have not touched it as much. I think I'm about where you are. I think we compared. There's a great train sequence, which is something out of a James Bond movie, essentially. Even as music that's pretty similar, which is great.
Yeah, you know what it reminded me of, in terms of all this stuff going on around you, is the Uncharted 2 a train level in that it just looks great and there's like a set piece after a set piece. It isn't, quite the same, but yeah, totally in that kind of vein of James Bond for sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that's like maybe a third, I think. I mean, I've cleared a handful of like planets and I've done like some side stuff, so I'd guess I'm maybe, a fourth, third, somewhere around there. But yeah, it's just fun. It's gorgeous. Like I said, I'll be writing something, should be up at some point, maybe whenever this mysterious podcast goes up, about the differences that I feel like in how Star Fox Zero was treated in comparison to this Ratchet and Clank reboot, just because they were handled so differently, and you've gotten much more drastic results between the two, because now people, I'm sure, would be excited to see like a brand new Ratchet and Clank, whereas on the side of Star Fox Zero, that franchise is probably dead until the Wii 2 comes out.
They should just let it die.
Well, it's sad because like that's my childhood. Like I talked about it. Like I played that so much. Like super inside story, but I think that's like the first game that made me cry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was hard. Like when I played it, I'm not sure. I want to say it was like maybe 98, maybe. I could be wrong about that. So I was like 6, 7, maybe.
Did you cry because you sucked at it, or did you cry because I don't know?
I think it was like probably both, because like the end part where like you're fighting Starwolf and like all his minions to go and fight Andross. That part was super hard. And then flying like out after your dad, it was just like, that's like one of the first big games besides GoldenEye that I remember beating, but it being super hard. Obviously different compared to now, where I can play through Star Fox 64 in like 2 hours or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just like that growing up, like that was like one of the first games that like obviously got me into gaming, so it holds a special place in my heart, which is why Star Fox Zero, so much. Yeah, it is such a dagger, like right in my eye, and then my other eye, then in my heart, then in my eye. So,
well, going back to Ratchet, I know Jordan's played the other ones quite recently, and Evan's a huge fan of them as well. Are you gonna play the reboot at any point, or you just don't care?
I'm like really swamped down. I actually just picked up 2 more games this week to review, and I've got all sorts of stuff I'm working on right now. But yeah, I'll definitely play it at some point. It's $40 at this point, and it's not on my it's not gonna be like Uncharted where I have to play it the week it comes out.
Yeah.
I'll maybe pick it up Black Friday, or if I get it on sale over the summer when I'm not doing anything else. But I am very, very excited to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat too. It's like a lot of shit is going on in my real person life, and I just have like a ton of other games, and it's not something that I feel like, I gotta be part of this since it's this new groundbreaking thing. It's like, no, it's a game I'll pick up for like $30 over the summer and play just because it'll be a fun trip down memory lane, and less of like, I gotta know what's happening in the Ratchet verse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh man, that cliffhanger ending. What's Ratchet gonna do?
There's a ton of games coming out right now, and I have a ton of games, and Steam sales are going to happen, and they already are happening. Like, I bought 2 games like 10 minutes ago. So, I mean, that's just the way it is now. It's awful.
Well, there was one more game that I have played. Well, there's a bunch of others. I haven't got my list, obviously, so I can't be sure. But, and, the other lot I'll chime in on when Evan and Kevin go. And Jordan, because I think we've played some similar stuff. But Evan, I've been playing Dark Souls 1. I've just started that back up. And it was interesting to hear your chat last week about Dark Souls. You were trying to convince Jeremy that, it isn't as hard as all that. And, maybe he should give it a go. Because it's not, right? This is why I wanted to give it another go, because some of the best games criticism or writing that I think I've ever encountered has been about the Souls series. And you know what they all have in common is that they don't talk about how hard it is. Because honestly, I don't know, talking about how hard a Dark Souls game is kind of, it's kind of the most boring thing you can say about those games. Do you know what I mean?
It's so reductive in a bad way.
There's so much more about them that I know that I would appreciate and like. I just need to get back into them. Just for context for other dear listeners, I completed a Demon Souls. I have tried for a few hours a Dark Souls 1 and 2. I got almost close to finishing a Bloodborne. But then The Witcher 3 came around.
You're like 2 hours away from finishing.
I know. But then came The Witcher 3, and then I just kind of dropped it, and then I just didn't go back to it. And then when I did try and go back to it, I was just like, no, I can't do this. So, but with Dark Souls 1, I always heard that was like probably the best one, just in terms of the world design. And I have to admit, like even now, like I think it came out in 2011, right? Yeah. So it's like
September,
5 years old,
like 20 something,
and it's still, from what I've seen anyway, of Dark Souls 3 and certainly of 2, it's kind of leagues ahead in terms of like this big sprawling world that opens up, and it's like a Bloodborne really, in that, you know, everything interconnects and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of wanted to get back into it, because I kind of got given back my PS3, and I had bought a copy of it just before Christmas, and just wanted to give it one more go and just to kind of get into the series a little bit more. I'm up to the all the names fucking escape me actually.
Darkroot Garden?
Darkroot Garden / Basin and then the area after it, but that was all in one night, because I kind of, when I played Dark Souls 1 before, I slaved away at it for like hours and days, and I think I clocked in about a week, and I got as far in one night as I did for that entire week before. I just kind of stormed it, and it was really, really fun, and so I will keep playing that. So I just thought you should know, Evan.
Do you have that? You have the version with the DLC, right?
I do, yes, I do.
Oh, seriously, probably still bar none, probably some of my favorite DLC ever made.
Nice,
it's
yeah.
So good.
You know what I did as well this time was just real quick, I'm sorry, is that there's that a class where you don't have any armor, and you don't have any, deprived, and that's because I wanted to properly learn the mechanics, because it forces you to Kevin, to not have a shield and like a sword.
You can't rely on anything, yeah.
You can't rely on anything, at least for the first a couple of hours, and then you find stuff, and then, you know, it's fine, whatever. But I kind of really had to learn, you know, the mechanics of dodging and, you know, all the stuff that I couldn't really do before. So it's going well, and I shall keep you informed, Evan.
Also, you're messing around in the forest and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't go fight Sif right now.
Right, okay. Yes.
Don't do it. Do the DLC first, because there's like a super sad moment in that DLC.
I don't think I'll get as far as the DLC, Erin, if I'm being strictly
Come
honest.
On.
No. I mean, I will try. I will certainly try, but it's just one of those things, you know, a part of the reason why I've stopped playing these games is because I don't have the time, and in the past week or so, I have only played twice. So we'll see. Anyway, that's a thing. Someone else talk about the games they've been playing.
All I want to do is talk about Dark Souls now.
No, shh.
We already did that last week.
See what you've done,
Sam
Liam.
Got mad.
Yeah.
And then Sam joined in afterwards.
This
he
is
joined
true.
in on the third talk.
This is true.
Kevin,
Who's next?
Yeah, so handful of games that I have played. I know y'all are probably going to talk about Nioh. I did not like the 5 minutes that I played of that game. I played 5 minutes. I fell.
Nioh or Nioh? I thought it was Nioh.
I thought it was Nioh.
Nioh is how I've been saying it, but that's probably wrong. Right?
I don't know.
That's probably wrong.
I'd say Nioh.
Or how Jeremy capitalizes the O, like Oh.
All right, well, let's go into that though a little bit, because that ties into Dark Souls, which we were just talking about. So, you know, we're not actually talking about Dark Souls now, but it's a game a lot like it. Why didn't you like it?
Just how it controlled. It felt.
I mean, I'd agree that it felt a little.
Yeah, I just immediately I did not like how it felt to play, and I was like, nope, I don't need to play this. I just play Dark Souls. If I want to play something like Dark Souls, I will play Dark Souls, because I can replay through 3.
That's the problem. I felt the same way. Like, for somebody who wasn't playing Dark Souls and they tried this, they're like, oh yeah, it's fun. But when you come from Dark Souls 3, which handles so well, like, and that gameplay is so perfect that, like, I don't think it was like total garbage. I still played like a couple hours of the Nioh stuff, but even then I was still like, oh, this just feels a little like rocky, choppy in a way that isn't.
Yeah, it's not clunky. It's just like almost a little bit yeah, exactly.
It's like
stiff or rigid. Yeah.
It's stiff,
so I played. I fought the first dude you come across, and I was like, I don't need to play any more of this. I fought one man.
You just gave it.
I fought one man, and that's
Jordan.
Those dudes will fuck you up too.
Jordan, I heard you talking about it at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. I played it I'd never play any beta, like very long. I don't think I've played any one more than like maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I think that was the Doom beta. So I played it for maybe a half hour, and I liked it. I'm really looking forward to it. So for me, this is coming from Team Ninja. Like, I don't dislike Dark Souls, but I'm not on the Souls train like you guys are. It doesn't do it for me.
Hey, like, I'm like half on the train.
I'm on the train with a big old shield on the front.
You say that now, Liam, but you give it a month or... anyway, you're going to be just like John. You're going to get sucked into it, and next you'll be buying statues. And
I won't be as annoying as John about it.
Okay, well, if you say so, we'll take money on that.
John doesn't even have the statue for 3. I do.
Wasn't he going to get it, though?
This isn't a dick swinging contest.
He was going to, and then he decided not to get the collectors.
Well, it's a wise decision.
What did he buy? He did that to buy something else. I can't remember.
I know he bought the guide collectors, and then, which was a waste of money. I canceled mine. I don't know what he did cancel that for. Something else, whatever.
He's always either way. But Nioh is coming from Team Ninja, which for me is they make Dead or Alive, which is one of my favorite fighting games, and they make Ninja Gaiden, which is like Ninja Gaiden 2 is. I know it's not like top 5 of all time, but it is in my top 5 personal like games of all time because I love that game so much. So to see what they've been spending their time on in between putting out 4, or actually we're now on the 5th Dead or Alive 5 season pass.
Okay, now.
And and I'm going to write something up for the site on this because I just noticed the other day, because I haven't been keeping up with the DLC. They are on the 5th season pass. And each season pass is $92.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember seeing that, like, they had like $100 version for like just costumes or whatever.
Yep, they are all costumes. Like, to get all the content of that game is $500 fucking bucks. Anyway, so to see what they've been working on, and I think if there's anybody who can pull off a game that is as reflex based and focused on punishing difficulty, I think it's them.
I loved it. I really, really did like it, actually. Like, I know I've been playing a Dark Souls, but that was last week. And so I had a bit of a gap. And I love the stance system. You know, the higher, low, mid-tier stance system. I thought that was really smart because you had to keep changing it up. And the stamina was kind of really key in this one because it only takes, if you get, to the end of your stamina bar, then you just
cannot move.
You cannot move, you're just stuck, but you're basically stunned. And that's really, it could be frustrating, I guess, and it was because I kept dying from it. But then it just becomes part of your strategy. And when every time I threatened to just like, no, I've had enough now, I keep dying in this little bit, I would pause it. And then I would keep thinking about other combat. I'd be like, it felt really good. It felt really good. And then I would go back into it. So, from not having any interest, I don't want a Dark Souls style a ripoff. And it is. It is that template of verbatim. Like, there are bonfires, and every time, but no, it isn't a bonfire, it's an altar, but there is like, when you activate it, the whole world resets and kind of things like that. It's got plenty of the same stuff, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm not sure if I'll buy it, but I got up the first hill, past the village, the little like a settlement, and then just a little bit past there, and I didn't even see the boss yet. So I think I'll try and get to the end of the demo, see how I like that, and then maybe think about buying the game. But it was good from what I played.
And they straight up gank you too in that little village.
Oh yeah, they
fuck you up.
Fuck you so bad.
You don't go through the village. You go up the path through the woods.
Do not, yeah. Don't fuck. Well, there's actually a whetstone down there, which everyone is complaining about not fixing their weapons. There's a whetstone and a chest down there.
You know what happened with me, though, and just a real quick, is that I didn't understand initially I was picking up a sword. I kind of thought the game would make a big song and deal about the fact that, hey, you got a sword, and now you can equip it. Nope. Obviously, it is just like Dark Souls where they don't tell you jack shit. And for like my first hour with Nioh, I was just with my fists. Just with my fists, and I got really, really far again and again with just my fists, and then I kind of realised, oh wait, if I go into my inventory, I can obviously equip a sword, so that was weird. Yeah. Anyway.
When you publish a memoir, it better be titled Just My Fists.
Just my fist. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I mean, I liked it overall, though. Yeah, it did have that kind of stiff feeling of like moving around was real like stop and go. But I mean, I don't know. It says 2016 when it comes out. I don't think there's like actually a date or even like kind of a time of when it's supposed to be out. So depending on when it comes out, I might pick it up. It just kind of depends on, what games are out, what's going on, yada yada. But like, as long as it's maybe a little bit smoother when it finally comes out, then I mean, yeah, I'm on board for that. That type of gameplay is fun. Like, I hope that there is more weapons as you get deeper in with the game. Like, obviously, this is a tiny portion, but they only have like swords, axes, and what is it? Something else?
Something else, yeah.
Spears or whatever.
And I hope you get to go to somewhere that's like, when you think of a samurai game, it's exactly what you might think of in terms of your environment and the location. There isn't anything that is too surprising. So hopefully, as you go on with the game, it mixes it up with kind of where you go.
I mean, yeah, there's some screens out there and stuff, and even on the trailer you can see there's big giant demons you fight and like zombies and stuff. So I mean, it probably go like, obviously this is a tiny portion. I don't even know how long this version is. I have not gotten to the end. But yeah, I hope there's a little more like variety with weapons and armor and stuff. But it was fun overall. Like, yeah, we'll see what happens. Anything else, Kevin?
Yeah, the other two I played were Alienation. I have played a handful of, which I am really enjoying. I know Liam's played a little bit of that as well.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Obviously, it's by Housemarque. They did It's essentially like Dead Nation meets Diablo meets Helldivers. Oh, but yeah, it's a very, very nice mix. It doesn't have quite as much loot, I would say, pulling you forward as Diablo does. At least not as consistently as Diablo does. But essentially, you're running around, you're shooting space aliens. It's a twin-stick shooter. There's 3 character classes. They all feel moderately different, which is nice. I started one character, which is essentially like a rogue, because there's like a rogue, a healer, and a tank, essentially. And I started a tank just to see how different they felt, and it's a nice little difference between the two. So I'm really enjoying that. I definitely, for what I enjoyed the most over the past week, was definitely Severed, which just came out on Vita. Has anyone else played? Interested? No? Yes?
I bought it. I have yet to play it. I think now that I'm reviewing 2 horror games this week, I think I'm in the mood for that kind of atmospheric, slow burn. But yeah, I look forward to it.
I would want it, and I would have already bought it. It's just that I think I've lost my Vita. I think it's just gone. I tried, because I knew a 7 was coming out, and I packed it away on some trip, and it was in a laptop bag, and now it's not in the laptop bag, so it's either fallen out, which could be a thing, or it's somewhere in the house, which means the same thing in terms of it just being completely lost. So, yeah. But anyway, if I did have my Vita, I would almost certainly be playing it because it looks fucking great. Why is it good?
Yeah, obviously it's a little bit strange. It's by Drinkbox, who did Guacamelee. If you have a Vita and you have not played Guacamelee, there's something wrong with you. It's even on PS4, Xbox One, maybe Wii U, maybe? If you're playing it on Wii U, though, you're doing it wrong. But it's by them. It's just so different because it's like a first-person dungeon crawler touch kind of hack and slash game. So it's very strange in kind of what it does. I wasn't sure how much I would like it just because obviously it's so focused on using the touchscreen. Obviously, a lot of games do not. The most you'll do in a Vita game on the touchscreen is like just press a button, like to make it easier, or
unless it's a launch title in which every fucking game.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that it's so touch focused, but it works surprisingly well, and like it gets super tense because essentially you are going through this dungeon. You're this girl, I forget her name because it's been a little bit, but you're in like this weird purgatory, and you're fighting demons essentially. And these demons have specific weaknesses, specific types of attacks. So you'll attack them, slashing in a certain direction or parrying them in a certain direction, depending on their attack. So obviously starts out pretty simple, like a 6-armed creature will start attacking you with 1 arm, so you have to parry that and just like slash across his face, where he's not blocking. But then it gets super intense as you go on, because you start to fight different enemies. It gets very intense when you're fighting. I'm trying to think how many the most I fought was like, I want to say 4 or 5 enemies at a time. So you're constantly having to manage who you're attacking, like what buffs they have, kind of like your own spell set. Because there's essentially like a little timer at the bottom showing you what enemy is going to attack at what time. So it gets super, super intense. So it's definitely strange. It's strange to be playing such a touch heavy game that's not obviously on smartphone. Hopefully they bring it to smartphone or somewhere else, just because it is a great little game, and not that it's on Vita to die, but it's definitely like a last hurrah of Vita, as it kind of doesn't die, it just kind of lingers.
Isn't it weird that they made this at all? Like, I would have thought quite a huge risk, or a risk to the studio, because they made such dollar on a Guacamelee, but that's a game that can be ported over, and then, you know, if you kind of buy it now, say on Xbox One or PS4, they've got a really good version of it at the Super Championship Edition, blah, blah, blah. But that's quite easy to, you know, port over, because that's a 2D size scroller, you know, a Metroidvania. This kind of is stuck on the Vita. I guess it could come to phones, maybe, but it's just weird that it got made.
Yeah, because I mean, like, obviously they owe a ton to like Vita and like the Vita community, just because like that's where Guacamelee exploded, and because of that, true. Like, they're much bigger than they would have been. Obviously, like, they could have released that on all platforms. Sure, it may have done well, but you know, it was one of the huge kind of flagship titles for the Vita. Like, I know when I bought my Vita, whenever 3 years ago, I think, like, that and Gravity Rush and Uncharted were like the first games I think that I played, I want to say, just because like I heard games. So many great things about that. It's just weird that they would focus on a Vita title, but it's fantastic. Like I said, if you own a Vita, you should already have bought this game and played it. It kind of sucks because it is super duper short. I would guess you can probably probably beat it, I would say 5-6 hours. I got the platinum in 7 hours. So,
okay.
Damn.
Right. Yeah, that's not too bad.
But I enjoyed it so much that I just wish that there had been more. Because I know, I can't remember exactly how long Guacamelee was. I feel like it was at least like closer to 10, I want to say, if you do some of the other stuff. And I know there's like a bunch of challenges you can do. Because I definitely, I remember some of the trophies in that game being super, super duper hard. And I think they required multiple playthroughs as well, but you could get all of them in one playthrough for Severed. Not that it makes it any lesser, but I just wish there had been more. But yeah, it's great. I will have a review up, or already have a review up, or however this time traveling podcast works. But yeah, it's a great little game. I don't see it coming to PS4 because I know like there is the touchpad, but like the way that you like are slashing on the screen, like in specific points,
it's a bit too small,
specific points on the enemies. I just don't think that would translate to like the touchpad, but hopefully they would bring it to smartphones, because obviously that would bring in definitely a bigger market too. Because not that, you know, most young hip kids don't have a Vita, but most young hip kids don't have a Vita, and it's still a really good game, and it's super engaging with what it does with its touch controls, and it's got a very unique but kind of like super, super dark story to it too. So hopefully it does not see its last light on Vita.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep. Looking forward to playing that at some point.
Yeah, it's just, I'd play it, but it costs money and I've spent
like
enough.
$14.99. That's an evening out at Baskin Robbins.
I don't ever go to Baskin Robbins.
Especially not for $14.99. What the hell are you eating?
What are you buying? Like you probably buy a whole ice cream cake.
I've never
for
been to
$14
Baskin Robbins in many moons.
I was gonna say, is that the ice cream
one
place,
with like 31?
It's like it's the worst ice cream place ever.
Oh really? Because I think it was it in like Home Alone, which is the only place that I've heard about it in, where it was like,
really.
Do you base all of your just like knowledge of American life off of Home Alone?
All my knowledge. Yeah, you know, I was just watching a DVD of my wife's trip that she had in school to New York, and she said that the number one thing that everyone who went there in her class, was a good 35 kids who were like 18 or something, and they went for an art trip to New York, and they all said, "Oh look, it's that bit from Home Alone 2. Oh, it's that bit from Home Alone 2. Like everyone had that as a touchstone, so maybe it isn't just me, you know, whatever.
That's interesting.
Just saying.
That's really weird, yeah. I don't even go to like, I know, so they have Baskin Robbins and then they have Cold Stone Creamery is another. I was going to say
Cold Stone is way more popular.
That one still kind of sucks.
Huh.
I mean, around here we also have like Ben and Jerry's like shops.
Now we're talking, yeah.
But I don't really, all those places kind of suck. Like, there's places in downtown Portland or at the coast that's just like an actual like family ice cream parlor with like legit ice cream, and it's way better.
See, we've got an ice cream factory. Well, not a factory, a farm. Sorry, a farm of cows and stuff like that. And it kind of started off as like this really small thing.
Ice cream farm.
It grows on trees.
Shush.
From the ground.
Listen,
they just put the cows in the freezer,
farm,
shake them up.
Obviously, they have ice cream farms everywhere. Yes, but there's one just a.
I don't think they're called ice cream farms. Though. That just sounds weird.
It's called the ice cream farm. It's got cows, and you can see the whole.
Okay,
it's a dairy farm.
Yeah, it's we don't just make the ice cream there. We make the milk and we make the cheese.
The fucking thing is called ice cream farm.
And Brent, do you just have a milk farm and a cheese farm and a donut farm and a pastry farm?
No, I'm saying this is a place where you
called. Is it
anyone
like a business called the ice cream farm?
It's a family thing, right? So you go there with your kids and you can kind of see the animals.
So it's like a petting zoo too.
Park, things like that. I'm just saying.
Take a tour.
Come on down to the ice cream farm. We have it all.
This has backfired. This has backfired massively. Ice cream farm, whatever.
I mean, we kind of have that too here, but it's called a dairy facility. It's the Tillamook one, which is like they supply a shitload of stuff for like basically the West Coast, and it's like an hour away. They have a cheese factory you can go walk through and get like fresh shit. It's awesome. Anyways,
we've gotten off topic.
There's no such thing.
You run through all that stuff, Kev?
Yeah, that's in my time traveling game playing hat. That is all I have played over the past week.
So I have been also playing a boatload of games up until recently. I was just on vacation, essentially, just doing whatever I wanted all day, and it was awesome. So I have been playing mostly Hyper Light Drifter and Stardew Valley, two very different games.
Good choices all round, sir. Well done, well done.
Yeah. Let's see, what do I want to talk about first? Well, Liam, you've played Stardew as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing.
It's really good. I told you it was. It's because, it's quite a hard one. It's not a hard game to sell people on, because it is quite obvious it's a game where you kind of run a farm. Speaking of farms, see that we've unintentionally...
Nailed it.
Segue, yeah. Masters of this. Yeah, it's like, any of those games. But it's a hard one to, get people to know why it's so cool and interesting and why they should, put time away for it, because it's quite time intensive, right? You have to put a lot into it, but it's so worth it.
It's an easy game too for me, so I have dual monitors, and so I'll play Stardew on one screen and I'll watch TV or read on the other screen.
Dude, that sounds fucking amazing. I'd love that. I'd love that.
Yeah,
so much.
For whatever reason, I really like fishing in that game, and there's a sound cue that you get if you have a fish on the line, a little kind of shaking ding noise. So you don't really have to pay attention. So I just throw my line out there, and I'm hanging out on the beach, and I just kick back in my chair, watching something on the other screen, hear bing, and then I just turn and I catch a fish.
Amazing.
And I just sit out there, and it's the best thing ever.
So how far have you gotten? Because for me, I don't think I got very far at all. To be honest, because you are talking about all these ingredients that you've cooked up, and it kind of sounds like you've got quite the production line going on.
Yeah, how high is your ice cream farm leveled up to?
I don't even have any cows. I have chickens. That's the only animals I have.
Oh yeah, the animals. You know what? I would just, and it kind of sounds like you have, go for just crops. Because crops are easily maintained and they're predictable. Animals fuck your shit up majorly. Just nope, whatever.
Yeah, I don't even know what from cows you would get milk. I'm assuming with chickens you just get eggs and you can make mayonnaise. I know that. I don't know what else you can do with the chicken eggs.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't even get to owning chickens. I just owned maybe 10 different types of crop, and then my computer crashed, and then I stopped playing, and I was very sad. No, my save actually got corrupted.
Oh, really? Oh god.
Yeah. So it was I think I put in about 20 hours into Stardew Valley, and then the save got corrupted, and then I cried
you don't have a backup,
little bit.
the Steam, they automatically like cloud your saves? You don't have?
I didn't have it on Steam at the time. No, I do now, but at the time I had it on Good Old Games. Who's that?
Sorry about that. Give me a second.
Of course, it's Jordan. It's something Japanese.
It sounds like some Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku. Yeah.
Don't you make fun of Hatsune Miku.
It was on sale on Steam.
They're great games. They're hard as shit too.
What are they again? What are they?
They're just rhythm
I've seen
games.
Things of it.
I know there's like some weird sim stuff you can do in it, and like you like it gets into like that weird like Japanese like idol like worship stuff.
Yeah, that's what the whole thing is, isn't it? Like that's the kind of the plot is that these are like.
I just play it for the rhythm game. Like that's all I play it for. I could care less about the idol stuff. I just play it because like they're fun and catchy like rhythm games, and they're super hard too. I don't think I've ever officially beaten one of those games. Not that you can exactly, but they're hard. I know there's a new one coming out on PS4, and I think Vita as well. It might just be PS4. I want to say like August or September, and I'll probably buy it, even though I'll play it for only like 20 hours and I'll never touch it, and I have the other 2 games on my Vita.
Jordan, with that ringtone, is it for anyone who calls, or is it just like a special someone?
Oh no, that's anybody.
Okay.
God. Anyways, back to the farms. So I got some chickens. It just turned into summer, so I had to watch all my like fall. Well, yeah, it turned into spring or summer. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, you're way ahead of me then. Fucking hell.
All the crops I had just got wrecked. Like I came out of my house. I was like, oh man, what a nice night's rest. Pop outside. What's up, dog? And because a dog just shows up kind of early on, you get like a dog that just hangs out. I named him Bob, and he just kind of, I don't know, is there like something you can do with it? I don't know. He just walks around.
Yeah, so he's just cute. Yeah.
So I walk out, and I'm like, cool. Oh my god, and everything was dead. I was like, what did I do? What happened? Because it doesn't tell you, like, hey, the season's about to change. And I mean, obviously, it's not like a real-time game, so you can't say, like, oh, it's April. It's going to be this many days until the next season rolls around. It just kind of, they're like, I just feel like they go off a month. Basically, you get like a month of each one. So I don't even know how much money I lost. I didn't even think about it. Like, I had the whole probably like 20 potatoes, which are like 50 gold a piece. So like 2K just up and vanished. And
heartbreaking stuff.
Cauliflower or something that just died. So that sucked. So the first day of summer, I went out and bought a bunch of, blueberries, corn, hot peppers. I think there's something else in there. I don't remember what it was. So I got all those going because basically all those will take like this many days to mature, and then they will kind of keep producing on like a loop. Some of the plants do that. So I got those set up real nice and early in the summer, and then I just go out and basically fish like every day. I've been doing a little bit more mining, but it's not very lucrative up until this point.
No. What about the ladies or the men? Are you a female or a male? No, I'm a main character? You're a dude. Yeah. So, I mean, have you just all been about the farm, or have you gotten a time on the side for some dating action?
I've tried a bit to learn what people like, because in the game there's townspeople around. There's like 28 or something,
but they're all doing their own thing at any given time in the day. They've all got their own set routines.
Tell where they are. Yeah.
You don't know where the fuck they are. They're all having, I think, lives. They're called, and like you don't know where is Penny at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday. No one fucking knows. I had to write notes like as to what people are doing, because it was like, I need to find a Penny. I love Penny, she's really cute, but I don't know where she is on a Thursday at 6 o'clock. She's here in this really obscure part of the map. It can be really hard to have a day.
It's super hard. So I've gone around a little bit to try and because they have like meters essentially, and you gift them flowers or a rock or just whatever you want. Yeah, you walk up and you just like, hey, right click, and it's like, they'll either be like, oh man, I love this, or like, why'd you give this garbage to me? So you kind of have to and you can only give them 2 gifts in a week. Like, it limits you. You can't just walk up with like an inventory and just start dropping shit on this person until they're like, I love you. So that's a pain in the ass. So I've been courting a couple. I've just been testing the waters, really.
A couple, right.
Because it's also hard to tell who's single at first until you look in your little database of people.
Oh, it's so complicated, Stardew Valley. It's just complex.
Yeah, and so I give her, a flower. Okay, thanks. I was like, I don't even understand women in this game, let alone real life. And
it's hard to gauge because they're a mess of pixels. So it's like, did you smile? Is that a good thing that I just did? Did you flower? Right. There's no a facial expression to read. So it's just like, okay, I guess it's good.
Yep. So you just kind of have to take a guess, and you're like, oh, I found this cool seashell down by the sea. I'm gonna give it to you. I fucking hate this. Why'd you give this to me? Get away. I'm like, oh god. And so that's been really fun. Like, I haven't played the last couple days because a lot of stuff. I've been actually started working the new job, and Overwatch started yesterday. But so it's a game that I know I can't start it up and not at least play 2 hours of it. It's a game where you can't just I'm gonna pop in and water some crops. And you're like, oh, all of a sudden there's 85 things you want to do, and you only have so much energy in a day to do stuff. So you can't just I'm just gonna ride the burn the midnight oil and do everything. It's like, nope, you're gonna get exhausted, and then you move at a snail's pace.
I know why I've stopped playing it actually is because it's ever since my laptop got a cracked screen, because I kind of used to just play it alongside a TV, like you said before. But now that I can't see my laptop for most parts of it, I can't do that. So therefore, a bit on the side has sadly died. So that's a shame.
That's a really fun game.
I'd say I would probably play it if it was on Mac, which is not. I know, I think. On the first, he said that obviously that's one of the things he's working on is obviously a Mac and a Linux port.
Pretty sure in that little press thing he said he was going to try and do console.
Oh yeah, that would be good. But yeah, it's just a very dangerous path to walk because I used to be way back when. I don't remember when this was. I used to play a lot of Farmville, and just like Liam said, I used to just only do crops. Like my Farmville. My plot was completely all crops, and I loved mastering the crops, and I may or may not have made fake Facebook accounts to send myself extra things.
I can imagine that with you, Kev, because you kind of do that now with other games. Not that exact same issue, but you take it to the nth degree.
Not a surprise, but I don't know. It seems a little bit more casual. Obviously, you can take it to extremes, but like Evan said, he just pops on, goes fishing for a bit. I'll probably, by the time it comes out, I'll probably check it out once it comes to Mac, or maybe even if he does announce he's gonna try to do a console port, that could be something nice, I'll pop into that for an hour before bed.
Try it
something
out.
Like that.
It sounds like the most boring thing in the world, Jordan, maybe possibly because you've been oddly quiet, so I'm just assuming it's
oh no, it's okay. I just this is another one of those games I have no interest in.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It sounds really boring, and indeed, it should be, but it just isn't. It's the most charming, relaxing, enjoyable game I think I played this year.
So other than that, I have been playing quite a bit of Hyper Light Drifter as well, which is a very different game, but an equally impressive and lovely game. It's only on PC right now. I thought it was already on PS4, but that apparently is not the case. I know it's coming at some point. I have no idea when. It's kind of another, it's easy to kind of generalize or compare to other games, but it's still really good and unique and super interesting, and the sound design's good, and I really like the art. It's a Zelda-ish kind of, I don't even know, Metroid-like game where I honestly don't know the story at all. I don't think anybody does. There's no dialogue in the game. You pop in and it's just somebody, if you go, say you're in kind of the hub town in the middle, you're I'm going to walk around and look, there's a weird frog man that I'm going to talk to. And you're all right, roll up, and you're click. I'm using controller, hit Y, and you kind of just shuffle through a slideshow of pictures. They don't speak at all. You just kind of have to look at things, and it's you're some weird, the Hyper Light Drifters, apparently. There's more than one. It's a weird clan or something.
That's right, yeah.
And, it's a sci-fi future game, I think. And there's this cutscene at the beginning kind of shows what looks like the end of the world, maybe? I'm not positive. I'm really not positive at all.
I don't think you sound very sure about anything at the moment. Yeah.
No. And so your character is sick or something, because often you do a little thing and he'll start coughing up blood and the screen will get kind of fuzzy. Sometimes he'll pass out and this weird entity will show up, and there's a kind of a pitch black Doberman that shows up in other areas to oh no, there's a story thing gonna happen here, follow the dog. And then you puke up blood and pass out.
This is great.
It's really fun though.
This is great, Evan, because I have also played it, but it was about a week ago, and I was shit-faced drunk when I started it up. So I played it for about 2 hours, and you've done as good a job explaining it now as I kind of would have done then drunk, because I don't know what I played. I enjoyed it. I was like, all the pretty colours, but I can't speak to it on any informed level at all. But it seemed fun. Hard as fuck, though. Like, and you know what I said earlier about Dark Souls, and, you know, it isn't the most interesting thing to talk about in terms of how hard it is, but man, it is really difficult.
I mean, I've heard people say it's hard. I haven't had any issues. I beat all 3 bosses I fought on my first try.
Okay, maybe it's just me. It could just be me.
That's what I heard too. Was like, oh, it's real hard. It's like,
it's not at first though.
Dark Souls.
It's not at first. Like,
it's real tough.
It's not hard at first, because I heard the same complaints. I was like, oh no, this is fine, and I got past the 2 hour mark. And again, I was drunk though, so maybe that's it. You know, maybe.
Yeah. No.
But then it kind of got really hard.
It's a reactive game where you need like
yes.
It's basically all about like how fast your reflexes are when stuff moves around the screen.
Right, that'll explain a lot.
But yeah, I had heard it was real hard too, or not like really hard, but it was like, oh, there's some difficulty and it's ambiguous, obviously, and interesting, which it is. But I've been kind of let down by how hard it is. Like, I've seen people on like the Steam reviews who have played like 30 hours and they're like, I just beat it, loved it, don't know what happened, it was a good game. And by like the 4.5 hour mark, I was in the last area. I was like, am I playing too fast? Like, what am I doing? What's happening? And there could totally be things I'm missing because it's impossible to tell what's going on.
Yeah, right, I got you.
You kind of, it's basically the world map is like a big cross shape, and you kind of head off in a direction, you know, east, west, north, south, and that's an area kind of self-contained, and you'll work your way through collecting these 4 little nodes that will unlock a door, and then the boss is kind of at the very end of that area. You'll fight the boss, and this big kind of spire thing will arise, and it'll show up on a little map back at the hometown. So I'm in the last area, I think, and it's really fun. And they have New Game Plus too, which is cool. So I'll probably play it again. It's interesting and the combat's fun. But yeah, it was kind of shorter than I was hoping. I was hoping it was a little bit longer of a game, because I'd seen somebody in like the Steam reviews that had like 120 hours. I don't know how they did that.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say it's because after you beat the final boss, it turns out he wasn't the final boss, and the map flips upside down. And it's harder.
I mean, I'd be super into that. So
I know you would. I don't trust you at all when it comes to, oh, you know, this game was easy.
Yeah.
I don't.
I was the same way, because I played, I want to say about 2-3 hours. I think around 2 or 3 hours when it got a little bit harder. I mean, I like, same thing. I loved what I was seeing. I was enjoying the gameplay. I know Jeremy talked about it like handful of weeks back. We didn't talk about it too much in depth though, but yeah, I want to go back to it, but I just have such a hard problem playing games on my laptop because there's so much other stuff that I normally do on my laptop. It's like I need to stay busy, and it's just so hard to sit in front of my laptop with a controller and play a game compared to kind of my routine of like sitting on the couch with a big TV screen. But maybe, I don't know. I would probably rebuy it on PS4 when it comes out and just play it on there probably.
That's what I would also prefer, yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably finish it up sometime. I don't know. I worked like the next like 12 days straight. So, but yeah, see, I was looking on Steam at it, and that was just while you guys were talking. This guy has 150.7 hours.
Holy shit! Right.
I don't know how, because then you scroll up like 2 like reviews, and the guy has like 12 and a half, and he's like, just beat it, liked it a lot. It's like, I don't understand what I should expect from how long this game lasts.
Maybe you're doing something wrong. I don't know. Who knows?
And you kind of wander around the town, and there's upgrades for, you know, your weapons, and there's movement upgrades. There's you can get like a grenade, essentially, guns. There's a couple different guns you got to use. So I mean, I have if whenever this comes out on console, it'll be cool. I'll definitely recommend it to anybody at like, I think it's $20 or something right now. Totally worth it for sure.
Jordan, you can talk for the next hour. It's fine. It's all up to you now.
I don't know if I need that much time. I've been playing, I don't want to talk about it too much, but I have played and finished for review finally, Resident Evil 6. And
you should talk about that, because we've all played that and we all didn't like it.
Yeah, I keep trying to find, like, and don't get me wrong, as I played the last 2 campaigns, there were definitely points where I was like, okay, well, fuck this. Like, but it was mostly level design. It wasn't so much like, I think I still need to go and research it, but I'm pretty sure at some point they fixed the controls or they tweaked them somehow. Because I know that was a really big gripe people had, was how weird the controls were. But once I stopped, like, I finished it, I went to play The Division, and I was just like, man, Resident Evil 6 just controls better than this. But to be fair, The Division, like, in my eyes, doesn't control super well. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I pretty well enjoyed it. Like I said, there was definitely some stuff. I think it's one full campaign too fucking long. Because holy shit, that game just does not fucking end. It is.
It's because there's the secret campaign sort of that you unlock like halfway through, right? Yeah.
Yeah, at the very end. And it's like, they say campaign, but what I'm thinking is like, okay, so maybe, it'll be like 5 hours for each. It's like 7 to 8 hours for each fucking character. It's crazy.
And each character controls differently. They've got their own different tone and style. It's the most overstuffed, confused game I can remember, to be honest, in terms of AAA stuff. But yeah.
Well, they control similarly, but the weird thing is that their HUDs change. It's essentially the same HUD, just with different colors and shapes. But it's still just it's such a weird thing. I think it has one of the better Resident Evil stories. I think I love the entire series. I've played all the games, but I think by and large the story is total garbage. And I'm not saying the Resident Evil 6 story isn't mostly garbage. I just think it's less garbage than the average Resident Evil story. Yeah, I will write it. I keep trying to figure out why people hate it so much, and I'm...
Because of 4. Because of 4, that's why people hate it.
Yeah, that's it. Because we played it at the time when it was released, and, we had 5, which was a bit of a disappointment, but 6 was such a jump away from 4, like Kevin said. Whereas with you, you've had a chance to play it with the benefit of hindsight, maybe, or just a bit of distance, and you kind of heard those complaints. It's like when I play the Order 1886, 10 months after it came out, and I really enjoyed it, but that's because I had already heard a bunch of bad shit about that game, and about its length, and about this, and about that, but when I played it, I was like, it's alright to me, but yeah, it's that weird thing.
And I'm thinking it might be that, because there was so much hype for it, going back to its horror roots with Leon's campaign and stuff, and it was so... I think it's more like Uncharted than Call of Duty, if I'm being entirely honest. A lot of people, I'm looking on forums and stuff, and a lot of people are talking about how, that's when Resident Evil became COD. I'm like, no, this is when Resident Evil took a big old page from Uncharted. But I mean, in a lot of ways, it is a part of its time, and I also think a backlash, or the backlash because of it, is of its time, because it came out in 2012, and 2012 was the height of, we don't need these tacked on multiplayer modes, we don't need everything to be big and explosive and grand, and we don't need everything to have 1,000, oh Jesus Christ, QTEs. And Resident Evil 6 kind of has all of those. And I feel like it was just okay, well, this game is no longer a horror game, and it's check. Okay, well, fuck this. And I just don't think that anybody's really taken time to look at it critically since. I don't think it's a 9 out of 10 or anything, but depending on what our score ends up being, I think it's either going to be a 7 or an 8.
See, with me, it was Capcom not knowing what the fuck to do with the series in any way, shape. It was, like I said before, it was so confused, and it was if you want a horror game like it kind of used to be, here's a bit with Leon. If you want action cover-based shooter stuff, here's the bit with Chris. And it just mixed it up constantly, and then it was Capcom really not knowing what to do with it. It's just an odd game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to say, one of the things, too, I remember, because I want to say Resident Evil Revelations came out on 3DS.
That's it.
Around the same time, I want to say. And, that was,
It was, yeah.
Besides, there's a couple sequences in that where you're, fighting those gorilla monsters in daytime or whatever, and, the weird present day, where it gets kind of wonky. But, when you're on the boat and, you're alone and, you're being chased down by that creepy, I forget her name, that creepy lady, that was, a great Resident Evil experience. Obviously, it still had its missteps, but I remember playing Revelations and loving it, and I want to say, I'm not sure, but I want to say that it was 6 came out after that, and kind of that comparison was I just maybe even just played a better version on the 3DS than the big, multi-million-dollar big kind of tentpole release should have been.
I swear I've read that as well. Like, that a contrast was very intentional. Like, a Revelation series, if it carries on, is going to focus a little bit more on the old school survival horror stuff, which I think I did read them saying that they are not interested in pursuing with stuff on the console, like in the mainline series, because they don't think that sells. Well, hopefully they'll have learned from 6 that people don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, slowly but surely we're getting further away from, like, obviously Resident Evil 6, and I know for the past, like, couple years, like, there's been rumors, like, oh, Capcom's gonna reboot it.
I would hate, like, I don't necessarily like a lot of the stuff where the stories end up, of the characters. I would hate a reboot. Like a straight reboot?
Like a complete straight reboot. Right. Got you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what the rumors have been, but I know, like, specifically they've said, like, there's been rumors, like, that they're going to go back to, like, their horror roots. I mean, maybe not like a hard reboot, but like a soft reboot of some sort.
Kind of like 4, really, in that it acknowledged the past, but it was completely different. And that's what I feel it kind of needs.
I mean, at some point they're going to do it. Like, right now they have... Obviously, there was Revelations 2, which was, like, generally well-received for the most part. I still have to play through it. And then there's that upcoming super, super bizarre, like, COD Resident Evil shooter. Yeah. I love the series, and I hope that there's a 7 or whatever soft, hard reboot there is, because, I would love to play a new, PS4, Xbox One Resident Evil.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see something at E3 about that. But I've also been playing just a disgusting amount of fighting games lately. I won't go too far into those, but I also bought today. I've just been chipping away a little bit at The Division. I'm like level 9 in that game. I've really hardly played any of it, and I bought it like when it launched.
Yeah, because me and Jordan, we weren't going to play it, right? We were in the boat of we don't care about the game, and then suddenly we bought
pretty
it,
much.
And then,
yeah.
So
and I haven't really had time to really dig in just because of how hectic my personal life has been lately. But I keep trying. I think I really just need to take a day and just sit down and play it, because I'm not not enjoying it. It's just not like I've also been playing a little bit of Destiny, because they added a couple new quests and a couple new things to do, and it's Iron Banner. And I've just kind of been on, the Destiny string, which is weird, because I put, 180 hours or something into that game. And The Division just isn't grabbing me that same way, so I don't know. Yeah.
Dude, if it's not already grabbing you in the early stages, it's never going to grab you, because that game is the same in hour 10 as it is in hour 20. At least for me, I'm only level 15, I think, from when I stopped playing, and I've just straight up uninstalled it, and I just won't ever play it again, because it's the most boring game. If you're playing by yourself, which I know you're not, right?
No, I'm playing by myself. No,
okay,
I'm playing by myself.
Right, okay. Yeah, because I can see the appeal of doing it in a pack or with a bunch of friends or whatever, but I don't have any friends, so I didn't play it that way. But man, yeah, whatever. It kind of makes me actually want to go back and play a Destiny, which I still haven't played the expansion, because that is really fun in the moment.
Yeah, I know we talked about it on and off, but I'm in the same boat. Just Destiny's world is just so much more interesting, and your Guardian is such a much more interesting character than
I wouldn't go that far, Kev. Fucking hell.
No, I'm totally with Kevin. I think Destiny has I don't think the story, the core story and the happenings are good, but I really like the lore and the world that they've created. And if you
cooler to be a space wizard than it is to be a hipster with a beanie.
That's true.
Inherently more interesting to run around in space than here's some guys looting this dog's corpse or whatever. I guess I should shoot them.
Yeah. Anyway, I've been playing that, and then I've also been today I started playing The Witcher a little bit again. I picked up Witcher 3 just a little bit because I wanted to get a little bit of a taste before the next content expansion drops, I think, next month.
When is that?
I think it's next month.
Oh, that's when my life ends for a month. Great. Awesome.
And I also bought a while ago, but I just got to play it, started playing it, the very first Witcher game on PC, or I guess it's on Mac. And so I'm starting that. I got about 10 minutes into it, and then my laptop died, and I have to go back to it. But I plan to play through that and Witcher 2 before getting to the next content thing, and then I'm gonna beat all that content, and then I'm going to do a New Game Plus on
Good
Witcher 3.
Lord, that's a lot of Witcher to cram in.
Going back to those ones are hard.
Yeah. Witcher 1's fucking weird. Like, just the combat in that game is so bizarre. It's almost like you're essentially clicking on people, kind of like a Diablo type thing, but it's almost a rhythm game to do like a combo attack.
I've heard about this. Yeah,
it's so strange. Because I didn't understand what was happening. I just kept like clicking just to attack, but Geralt wouldn't attack. He would just like wave the sword over his head a little bit, like just waggle it back and forth, because that was the opening of his attack animation. Then I clicked it and I figured it out. And it's such a weird thing. Yeah, I'll definitely update more on that as I play through it.
I think 2 is the closer one that you can get to in terms of 3, not in terms of scope or like the size of it, but I played it on Xbox when it eventually came out on Xbox, and it ran like shit, by the way, on the Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible. But it was kind of very similar, just a lot more linear, but even more so than 3. Actually, the choices that you're making to make for a completely different game, which was kind of insane. Obviously, they couldn't do that with 3, but yes, they do and they don't, because it is so much bigger. They cannot afford to do it the way they did it in Witcher 2. There's 2 choices that I'm kind of thinking of. One at the start, one towards the middle, and basically the game runs in 2 completely different directions, where you're off doing completely different things because you're working for different sides of of this war that you're fighting. Just really, really cool game. But hope that goes well, John.
Yeah, I don't know. I fucking love that series. I've read like 2 of the books now. It's just like that kind of fantasy does it for me. But I also, after I'm done writing up my Resident Evil 6 review, I am starting a review for Neverending Nightmares and The Park, which dropped on PS4 today, and I tried out both of them, and those are real good. So far, they're like really what I'm looking for from the not just the indie space, but horror games. A game that really like makes you think or has something to say, and which I think is important in the horror genre. I think horror doesn't really get a fair shake as being a genre full of meaning. And then that's partially, due to the nature. We have a new haunted ghost house movie every month, and the every other Twitch phenomenon is a haunted house simulator that's full of jump scares. But I think Neverending Nightmares in particular, I only played about a half hour of The Park, which is so far very ambitious for an indie game. Really good animation, some pretty decent voice work, so I'm looking forward to finishing that. But Neverending Nightmares is so far I've played about an hour and a half of that. It's a ballsy game. Like that game.
Is that the one with the really cool art style?
Yeah.
I know that's pretty vague for the listeners, but I can't remember.
It's kind of like the easiest thing to say. It's kind of like an old-fashioned children's book. A lot of very strong lines and a lot of cross-hatching for shading. But it's mostly black and white with some color throughout for emphasis. But it's that right balance of disturbing and having a great atmosphere that really, it's not trying too hard. It's not going overboard. It's not disgusting, but it is, I don't know. It's an interesting game so far, and I'm looking forward to finishing that for sure.
Yeah, because
What is this so I can look it up?
Yeah.
Neverending Nightmares.
You can hear Evan typing away. Yeah, because when I was putting together the list for games to review this month, it's like a big list. And you end up, I was like, I don't know what this title is, or I haven't heard about it, and then you have a look at the trailer, and like, holy shit, this looks really interesting. And it's amazing how many cool, interesting games you can find just by doing that. I hadn't heard of Neverending Nightmares at all, or The Park, and both look pretty cool. And they're quite cheap, right? So I'm sure.
Yeah, right now they're both on sale for $11.99, which is super surprising, because I figured, especially with The Park is like, that's a pretty... I don't know how long it is, but it does seem to be one of those kind of walking simulator games, but it seems to be a pretty big area and pretty big scope to it for an indie title.
I think I may just be buying them in the short... hopefully, if I get money. But yeah. Evan, did you see it? Or?
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. It looks really odd.
Yeah, it's kind of, and it's really unsettling. But it's kind of reminds me of, if you guys are familiar with the old Clock Tower games.
Yes.
which were played from, like, the original ones were played from a very similar kind of adventure gamey perspective. And, like, there is some, like, running away from monsters. There's no real combat. But the running away from monsters kind of reminds me of, you'll hear a banging at the door and you got to run into the next room and find a place to hide and that kind of stuff. And it's working well so far. It doesn't feel as choppy as it could.
And the park looks way different.
Oh yeah, they are, in terms of gameplay and design. They're pretty different, but they're both kind of scratching that itch.
Kev, I feel like you would like the park because we like Layers of Fear quite a bit, so I would check that out. Or just buy it, so maybe I can play it too because we a game share.
I'm playing a certain game right now, and then
Oh, could you talk about that other game, or is it because by the time this comes out, right? We've got about 10 minutes left.
I'm playing Uncharted 4.
Oh, the embargo for it is out as we record tomorrow, so by the time this comes out anyway, the
game will be out.
You'll be fair. So I don't want it spoiled. I don't want you to talk about the story, obviously. I don't want you to talk, just don't spoil it. But I've been hearing some awesome things from you. You've been loving it quite a bit, right?
Yeah, there's been tons of speculation. There's been the delays, obviously the departure of Amy Hennig. A lot has been up in the air about the game, like, could Naughty Dog deliver again? Especially, the fourth game in a series. It's hard to do that with the same character without like a hard reboot. Kind of like, obviously Gears is doing that. Halo kind of did that with meandering success. We'll see about Gears, I guess. So yeah, it's the way I describe it to Liam a little bit is like it's honestly like some of the best parts of Uncharted and The Last of Us kind of mixed together. It's kind of like the culmination of like everything that they learned in Last of Us kind of mixed into the Uncharted formula. I know a lot of people were worried that Last of Us was so dark. It was so I guess dark, dark and gritty. It was too gritty. We want happy-go-lucky Indiana Jones adventure time. I would say that, there is definitely, they're approaching it with a more mature approach, I would say. This is probably the most I've cared about, like, the characters overall, just because, like, they've made them a lot more human. Everyone eats up scenery. Like, all of the cutscenes, all of the interactions, they've been great. They've given me chills. There's been some, like, touching stuff. There's been some... It's just, I am having a fantastic time. Obviously, I was going in with, like, tempered expectations, kind of because of that. Some of that stuff from, was this game going to be quite as good? Could they live up to those expectations? But I think they've exceeded my expectations, and I'm gleaming and gushing about all that I've played so far. Like I'm taking down review notes and like
it's just tears. It's just a pad full of tears, basically.
Yeah, because usually like I just do bullet points, as I'm playing through the game. Most games I'll do like maybe 10, 15 bullet points, just get like points of reference for when I review it, but. Like right now I have, probably like 50 or 60 different bullet points of like things that have like stood out, quotes, interactions.
Again, that's really good because again, I think, and I was saying this to you earlier, like, my excitement level has been, not zero, but it's just not been in my mind, because of all the things that you talked about before with the ups and downs and the stuff. There's all the stuff that's been going on about this bloody game for years, and to hear you talk about it in such a revered way, it kind of means a lot. How much have we seen of the game? Like, from an outsider's point of view, with me seeing the trailers and the kind of stuff they've shown at shows, how much is there still to discover? Have they only shown us a little bit, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, even if you followed like every single like trailer that they've...
Which I haven't.
I mean, I'm sure like most people have seen like the E3 demo, like that sequence, for the most part. Like, it's what you want. Like, it's a big action-packed like globe-trotting adventure. There's some great locations that they go to. Obviously I won't spoil it, but there's some great locations, and obviously now that it's on PS4, like the leap from Uncharted 3 to Last of Us, you saw not the areas get huge, but there was a little bit more of a sandbox to kind of play in. Like when you're walking, like in Last of Us, like when you're going like through the sewers, like it's a little bit more of an open area. You can explore a little bit. There are some pretty huge areas you can explore in Uncharted 4, and they're gorgeous. And the main thing is like it makes you feel like you are Nathan Drake, like you are kind of like an archaeologist / explorer You're not just a dude shooting dudes in the face. Not that, that hasn't been fun in the past. Because essentially, like, on Vita and in Golden Abyss, like, you felt like an adventurer, you felt like an explorer, even though all the stuff you were doing is dumb. And Uncharted 4, like, blows that out of the water. Like, you're exploring, like, you're finding not only, like, dumb relics and, like, collectibles, but you're finding contextual stuff, kind of like you did in Last of Us. Whether it's, like, tidbits about history or about, like, the bigger happenings going on. There's just so much great stuff. And like, even though we'll see, I still have probably maybe 3-4 hours left. I just love where the story has gone. Even if it is like Drake's last adventure, like this is like the best his character has ever felt in a way. Like he feels, not that he wasn't fleshed out in previous, games, but
I know what you mean.
He feels the most real in this game. And like I said, like I think they learned a lot from The Last of Us and having like a very human experience within that game, and they've kind of applied that formula to Uncharted 4, which is like the game overall has blown me away, and I can't wait to continue to play. I did not sleep. I played. I wanted to play it all in one sitting. Like that's how much I have enjoyed it. But I had to go to work and spend some time with you folks, and then I'm gonna hop off here and I'm gonna be wide awake because like I've talked about it a little bit before, like playing Destiny, like if I'm playing Destiny late at night, if I'm getting tired, like I will start to close my eyes a little bit here and there. But like playing through Uncharted last night, the pacing is phenomenal. Obviously there are big action sequences, but even the stuff happening between those action sequences is just as good. Kind of like how Last of Us, like honestly, like the combat was whatever in Last of Us, like those human moments and engagements were like the best part of Last of Us, and kind of some of those great interactions are what's between the big set pieces in Uncharted 4, which is great.
Can't wait. Jordan, did you have anything to ask? Because I will skip Evan because he's just a big rainy cloud.
What?
Yeah, I wanted to know, that comes out like next week, right?
Yeah, it's a 10.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, sounds awesome. I was actually just thinking about that the other day. Yeah, I think I was thinking about renting it, but the problem is that the local store that does rent games like gets 2 copies, and so I won't see it for 3 weeks, which I am not willing to abide. I'm a very, very big Uncharted fan, and I'm getting more excited as it draws nearer. I think I'll probably get it day one with you guys.
Like the best thing I can say is like if you're invested, if you love this series, like it feels fresh and new, but like there are like some great moments of nostalgia. I'm looking forward to like once everyone plays it, like to talk. There's like so many, of course, like there's so many big set pieces, gorgeous like explosions, gorgeous environments, but there's so many like little pieces of detail, little sequences that are so great.
This is it. This is the first time I've been excited about the game in a very, very long time because, like I said before, it's just not been on my mind because you kind of know it's going to be of a certain standard, but also with everything that's been going on, I was also, just unsure and because I just played the Uncharted collection before Christmas and they were fun, but I played those games before and they've kind of not lost their charm, not really at all, but it's kind of, you've been there and you've done that, but it sounds like there is a lot to like, so thanks for getting me excited.
It's one of those games that you know it's announced, you watch the trailers, you know when it's going to come out. Oh, it gets delayed. Okay. Like, it's not like, Battleborn, where people are wondering, is Battleborn going to be a good game? Is Battleborn going to be mediocre?
Is it good? Is it not? Yeah, there's no question. I know with Evan, like, okay, and I said I would skip you before, because I know you don't like these games, especially.
It's not that I don't like them.
You have said on other podcasts that
I'm just not over the moon about them. Like, they're fun popcorn weekend games that I never think about.
And honestly, like, that's how I felt about, like, the first trilogy, because when I got my PS3 in, I think it was 2012 with my brother, I was playing like games left and right. He played Red Dead and then like all the Uncharted games, and he was blushing about them for a while. And it took a while because I was like, oh, okay, those sound cool. I played through them all, like I enjoyed them, but I thought they were like, great. I never thought they were the greatest game that I had ever played. Maybe because I didn't play them when they came out.
That's it. I think in 2012, did you say that's when you played them? Like, by that point, there's already a ton of games that copied that style. And, like, all the games at that point were like Uncharted in terms of, like, we've got to have these big set pieces and blah, blah, blah. Like, kind of back in 2010, which is only 2 years before, but in game terms, that's like a lifetime. Really, the story is not insane. Like, it's been done before in films and even other games and things like that, but it's just more the game, the way, especially Uncharted 2 is structured and are constructed, like the levels and the way they dovetail into each other and the way the story is interwoven in there. I think they're really, really smart games, personally. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because I think like Last of Us definitely won me over as far as like being a huge fan of Naughty Dog. Because like I said, the original trilogy, like it was fun, it was good. I was never like, oh, these are the greatest games ever. But you can just tell, like, obviously I won't go into specific details, but you'll see influences from all the previous games. It's just like they've learned a ton from obviously the previous trilogy plus The Last of Us, and it's like it's combined into something that I want to go beat it, and then honestly, like, I want to probably like start it again just because it's such a great experience, and so far it's gorgeous. It runs perfectly. As we know, like their cutscenes are seamless with the action and the gameplay, and yeah, just like there's so many smart choices that they've made with like the approach with this game, and it like I was just worried for a while because of all the like fallout with Amy Hennig, and obviously like they did great on, Bruce and Neil did phenomenal with The Last of Us, but I was worried personally. Like, I was like, could they do this? Is this going to be something that I'm going to be invested in? Is this going to be something that I'm going to enjoy? Or, is it going to be how I felt about Rise of the Tomb Raider? Like, which I was not hot on. Thankfully, I'm over the moon about my experiences so far with Uncharted 4.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, just look at you made it sound like it's too long to play in one sitting, which bumps me out a little bit.
I mean, I played 7 hours.
I like doing that. It's just a dumb thing. That's all right, I'm going to sit down.
From what I understand, John, I was thinking about this earlier when I was reading the trophies, because they were posted, the non-spoiler, no hidden trophies revealed or anything. But I know John loves his platinums and his Uncharted, because what did he say? He did them all in one weekend?
I think that was the case. Yeah, he did.
I've definitely seen, like, not to be spoilers, but like I've seen a lot more like off the beat kind of trophies so far. There's been a couple of very neat ones as well. So
there's 2 trophies I know about. One is beat the game with above 70% accuracy, and one is beat the game in under 6 hours.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Dang, some God of War style.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I'm 7 hours in. I'm probably like, I'm definitely towards the end. But like I said, they're the environments that they put you into. Like they showed off in the very first like E3 demo where you're driving through the city from the tank. Like there's different paths and stuff. And it puts you into some areas where, like I said, you are Drake. You are free. If you want to go to the next mission, area, quote unquote, you can. If you want to, be Drake and explore, you can, which is great. I mean,
sounds good.
I'm over the moon about this game, and I'm actually I pre-ordered the collector's edition ages ago, just because I was probably going to give my younger brother the statue, because I got him the Uncharted 3 collectors from Walmart like a year and a half ago, because they still had them.
Right.
And I was tempted to give him the statue, but now
keep
I'm
face
like,
out.
hey. Yeah, I actually kind of want this statue because I am quite enjoying this game, and I want this dumb thing to sit and collect dust.
Cool. Yeah, I look forward to. I'm hoping Noah goes through with buying it. He's like, apparently between this and Overwatch, he's gonna like decide on what to buy this month.
No, he should.
So I'm hoping he buys it, so I don't have to do it.
I like Overwatch looks fantastic, but between Overwatch and like Uncharted, that's not.
And I hope it isn't down to like how many hours he or can get out of a game as well. It's like I know there's technically more value per hour in Overwatch or any games really, because Uncharted is, by its nature, it has a beginning, middle, and end. They are shorter games, but it shouldn't be about that either. Just like, it sounds like, and, from what I've seen and, from what I've heard, it adds, there's more value than kind of just how many hours you're playing, which is always important.
I mean, if he doesn't decide to get it, I'll probably just like Redbox it over a weekend or something. Like, I don't really need to buy it. I'm not interested in the multiplayer at all. I'm not really interested in exploring. Like, I just want to see how it ends, really. Like, I'm hoping that they move on to do different things after this, that they don't end up doing Uncharted, Redux or some shit.
Yeah.
So
I'm just like, whatever they do next, I will be insanely excited for. Like,
I mean, yeah.
I can't wait.
They're a legendary game developer now. Like, they're gonna do something.
Yeah, I hope it's not Last of Us 2 next. I hope it's something new, and
Please
then
don't.
Last of Us 2.
No,
but,
just they can leave Last of Us
just
alone.
Don't make it. Yeah.
Just make a whole new series for the PS4. They've carried through all of their old series. Just like make something new. It's like with what happened with the guy. No, actually, I won't mention it because then I'll get Evan talking about Dark Souls.
Hey, I was just going to mention that too.
Yeah.
I was right on the tip of my tongue.
Wrapping up the show.
That's the thing is everybody wants a sequel now, and we just don't need to have sequels to everything. Come on.
Yeah.
The ballsier move would be to not have a sequel.
Exactly. Like
Seriously,
all these people are so talented. They have so much potential and so much just creative energy. You don't want to sap that after years. And like each of these games, any of these games takes 2-3 years or 4 years of someone's life. It's just like after a while, that's almost a decade to make a franchise like Uncharted or Dark Souls. Just don't do it.
It's the same with Miyazaki. Like he's been making Souls-esque games
way too long.
Years now. Like he wants to go do something else.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, "Where's Bloodborne 2?" And I'm just like, "No, don't." Like that dude is a genius, and if you start forcing him to make games he doesn't want to make, it's not gonna be good. No, let's wrap up the show. It's been a long time. So, this was episode 2 of the PunchCast. Whenever this comes out, which
soon.
Gonna be soonish, maybe. Who knows? Hopefully you head on over to groundpunch.com. You check out all the cool and interesting and very beautiful looking things that we have put there, along with reviews and some opinion things and some cool original content from the very talented people that work here. We'll probably see you next week or the week after or sometime. That'll be good. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.